Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today on Women Have Needs Too by LindaQ TV. We are here today with a former tech CEO who founded one of the first telecommunications professional services firms in the United States when she was 27 years old. She has brought this company to market with offices in Seattle and Portland before selling and moving into publishing in 2014. She's written several books, and we are talking to her today about why is it important to write a book. Does everybody want to write a book? Who wants to write a book? You should write a book.
Yes, they should. Thank you for being our commercial. Thank you, Linda. I'm excited to be here. And, we say, and I'm sure you've heard it before, everyone has a story.
Yes.
So we do believe that. And it doesn't necessarily mean everyone should publish their story, but everyone should tell their story.
I agree.
Is what we believe. So, yeah, I'm excited to be the COO of Now Publishing, and this is now my life. I get to meet and talk with great people.
So how did you decide to become a publishing company?
That's a great question. And actually, my second company, which is my second endeavor, basically sort of started the same way my first company did. Because as you mentioned, at 27, I started our company, BIC. That was because I was an IBM engineer at the time, and I quit, and my boss's boss 6 months later called me back and said, come to work for us as a consultant, and so that birthed my company.
Wow.
This company, which I ended up having for about 18 years, this company, Now Publishing, was birthed because the gal that had this fabulous idea for a publishing company, I started to support her. And at one point, as I got to know more about her ideas for publishing, she was a great ideas gal, I said to her, let me help you start it. I'll just be the support for it. And then that turned it as co-founding Now Publishing. So again, somehow I get snuck in here, but honestly, I'm a business major. I love business. I used to read business books in high school.
Yeah.
I love everything about business, and I've been an entrepreneur for many, many, many years.
That's amazing. And I want to go back to the tech thing at 27, and we're not going to ask you what year that was, because then we don't do that. Right, not necessary. But when you started that tech company at 27, how many other women had a tech company?
Well, very few. And actually, you had said one of my brand book about my tech company is Never Drink Coffee During a Business Meeting, and there are chapters on why I needed to learn how to golf. And I did, and I love golf.
I love it. I tell women that all the time.
I can't remember which chapter it is, but there's a chapter in there. There is a chapter that's called It's Lonely at the Top. Be careful when you're there. And I'll tell you, I was influenced greatly by the book from Sheryl Sandberg, her initial book of Lean In. And it was that idea where I did have to lean in. And here I was. I was a young woman in my 20s.
Yeah.
I felt like I knew I had a big ego then. I felt like I was the smartest engineer in the room, and maybe sometimes I was.
Right.
But I didn't have a humbleness or humility, which was a trait that I should have had then.
It bit you in the butt one time?
I came out sometimes like a bull in a china cabinet. I remember those engagements. But fortunately for me, I did have the good idea, or I did see the engineering solution maybe before the team, and the client knew I had the right idea for the client. I knew how to take care of the client, and I knew I had to take care of it in excellence, which is something we have in the Now Publishing. At the end of the day, if you deliver the services your client asks you for in a more than what they believed and exceeding it, that will usually solve any other kind of issues that were there. But
so
for
true.
sure.
So this book is kind of a mentoring book of the things that you learned starting out so young, and things that bit you in the butt maybe, and that you wanted to prevent happening to other people?
Absolutely. So my profile, I was talking about this the other day, my new employee profile for my tech company was typically female, a very high percentage female, recent college graduate. And back then, the only tech degrees there were really was computer science. It was like computer science and then everything else. So I would hire women that had graduated from college with a graphics background, a communications background, you name it, and then I would train them from the ground up. And what was good about that is that it was the first time they'd been in a conference room. It might have been the first time they'd used a copy machine, and they weren't tech. I would have to teach them the office programs.
Right.
We would provide laptops, I'd teach them all that technology. But so I instantly became their mentor. And even when we looked back at the history of our company, usually it was about a 3.5 to 4 year life they had with us, because as young women in their early 20s, what would happen? They'd get engaged.
Then
they'd
have
become
babies.
married, they'd have babies, right? So I really became their mentor already, and many of them I still know now and
That's
love,
beautiful.
and I've watched them, and it's been great. So when I wrote this book, it was that mentoring type advice, and actually the foreword is written by a gal, Robin Button, who lives in Colorado, who was my first mentor with my first contract when I started my
Aw,
company.
that's
And
beautiful.
she, in a word, I would say, she taught me one of my biggest lessons, and that was remove the emotions from everything you do in business. And it's whether it's positive or negative.
I know,
People
but
think it's a
that's
negative
difficult.
emotion. It's very difficult. Let me tell you what
How
she
do
told
you
me to do.
Yeah.
Let me tell you
How
what.
do
So
you do that?
my-
For me, I'm a very emotional person.
Well,
and
you're
I went
passionate.
In, I went in to have a meeting with one of my bosses, and he said, Linda, because I started to cry, and what I had to say was so important that I started to cry, and he said, Linda, take the emotion out of it. I'm like, how am I supposed to take the emotion out?
Right.
But this is very good advice.
Well, and I'll tell you, there used to be something that was said to me that I'd get very offensive is, it's not personal, it's business. I used to get really offended by that because I say, it is personal, I am in business, I'm a person, right? But I get it now. I used to take offense to that. Let me tell
So
you
the
what
advice.
Robin did,
Yeah.
how she taught me this in a big way. She was still is a very educated, smart woman, had been a project manager before there was PMP and all of this for years, and I think she had a military background. So she was very great.
Oh, we know they don't
as a
have
great-
any emotions.
Right, so, yeah, so Cece, you know that. So here's what she did. Our first client was the Bon Marché, became Macy's account. It was all the 60-some stores my company did all the programming for in the installation in the US. So one day, we're working, and what my client, the Bon Marché, said something, I can't remember what, that I was very upset with, and she could tell. And so she said, here's what I want you to do. She said, go get in your car, which was downstairs, through the mall, across the sky ramp, in a parking lot in downtown Seattle. Get in your car, you go drive around the block until you've calmed yourself down.
Yeah.
And I didn't question it, and I did it. And then she says, then you come up and we'll solve this. She just taught me if you have to do that to go to extremes, do it, because there's no place for emotion in this scenario. And that was
title?
she wrote the firm. Yeah, never drink coffee during a business meeting.
Let's talk about, okay, so this is the title. Never drink coffee during a business meeting. Tell us just about that reference.
Well, the reference too also has the Starbucks cup, because Starbucks headquarters was one of my clients as well.
Okay.
And there's a fun story. And in the book, I have stories from FBI, Starbucks,
Yeah,
and so on.
fun.
But so that idea sort of was the lean in part. And by the way, I did not read lean in before this book. So,
Oh,
'cause I
too
said
funny.
no, but it
Yeah.
was around that same time. So the idea in that is to do not leave a meeting in progress for any reason. So if you drink coffee,
You have to get up to go to the restroom.
Exactly. And
Okay.
why is that? We know you leave, and now an influencer in the conference that had an opposing idea might have steered the whole thing, and somebody's decided without you being there.
Ooh.
And it is that idea of being present and staying in the room no matter what. You know, sometimes as women in different industries, and even just, you know, you get a bunch of alpha personalities. That takes a very unique talent and way to stay involved and to stay in somewhat control. In fact, even in
Yeah.
our role right now in publishing, we produce some business books for some highly successful, this is one of
And
our
we're
clients,
gonna talk
alpha
about
people.
that.
Yeah. And,
All right, so
yeah.
what do you mean a business book? What do you mean by business book?
So
And who writes a business book?
Yeah, so we actually call it business brand books, I should say.
Okay.
So, and who writes a business brand book is anyone that wants to gain a new client. You know, at the end of the day, we're in the age of content. You know,
Yes.
we are. If we all don't agree on
Absolutely.
anything, we agree we're in the
Absolutely.
content. On social media, we're looking at content. What's being posted and publishing is all content. Well, what's the biggest delivery of content? A book. So that
And books these days, I'm sorry to interrupt you,
Yeah.
but books these days are not just on paper.
That's right. They are ebooks, and they are the fastest growing segment in the industry is Audible. So
Yeah.
all of our books are on iTunes, are on Audible, are on Amazon. Most of us, I mean, I do a combination of all books, right? But I'm in publishing. But there are many people that refuse to buy a book anymore.
Yeah, they want to do it all,
or they
either
want
Audible or,
Yeah.
I did just buy 2 books, but a friend of mine had them Audible, but I decided to order them because I'm not in my car that much anymore. I used to be on the
Right.
road all the time. So I'm going to talk about how we met
Yes.
and lead that into one of the reasons why we're here today and what makes now publishing different. So you and I met at a women's networking meeting, and there was a circle around the room of about 40 women,
Yeah.
40, 50 women. I mean, there were a lot of women there.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot going on that day. And if you can imagine women in a room where breakfast didn't show up.
Oh, that's right. Oh, and the coffee was horrible. I hate to say that. It wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But
were not
let me
happy.
tell you, that was one of the best networking meetings I've been in.
Yeah.
Not just because I met you, but because there was a lot of dynamics going on that day, because we didn't have the distractions of the good coffee and the good
Pastries.
Yeah. So we each went around the room and said our name, our business, and what we're look forward to in the next 3 to 6 months or something like that. And when Liza Marie introduced herself and what she does, I made a mental note that as soon as we break out of this circle, I am going to beeline it for you, and it happened. Yeah, we were kind of meeting each other in the middle, but I remember you were floundering, and I'm like, come here.
You're like, no.
I need to talk to you. And I remember asking you, so tell me about it. And I said, I've always wanted to write a book.
Yeah.
And that was the beginning of our love
Our
story.
friendship. Yeah, no, absolutely, right? Gosh, that seems like forever. I mean, it was over a year ago or so. I can't
And
even
so
remember.
I learned what the difference is between your company, now publishing as a publisher, and the traditional, because you are not a traditional publisher. Let's tell the people why you're different and how you're different.
Sure. Well, thank you. So there are actually, we wrote a book. I co-wrote it called The 90-Day Author, and actually it goes through the publishing industry and all of that because the publishing industry is very kludgy. There is no industry standards. Like in tech, there are industry standards. In tech, there's different platforms in that. In publishing, there isn't. And so we are a hybrid publisher. And what we did is we very specifically, from my understanding of what was missing in publishing, we put those elements back. So really
was
there's
missing?
two. So there's two parts to it that's missing. The first part is we build the book from the ground up for our clients. Actually, we're going to talk about the book that you're working on right now. But our client, I mean, just to bring up another client, this is a book that's coming out in a little bit. It is about you. She's an artist. She's a radio show host. She's got a professional career. She's not a writer. Our business clients are not writers. So we build the book from the ground up with their content. We don't like to say we're ghostwriters because we're really not. It has to be your authentic experiences, all of that.
This is true.
It's true. So we build the book from the ground up as one element. And then the other part we do is after the book is done, we spend 6 months of full promotion for our client's profile to gain them clients and for their book. And that was what was missing from my journey as an author once I learned that. And I don't have a bad thing to say about my publisher, which was out of New York, but they handed me my book and said, we're going to give you an hour mastermind, and now you go, Liza Marie, and hire PR agents and social media and do all that. How could I do that when I was the CEO of a tech company? 0 time. So we've done both of those things, and I think we're getting better and better. I mean, we try to improve every day, every month, every quarter, and in March it'll be 5 years that we started this company. So we're really proud of what we do, but I
love it.
Well,
I did take the 90-day author course, and it's pretty amazing. So I have started that book, and I'm looking forward to finishing that book.
You will.
And I was also invited to
Be a change
contribute
maker.
a chapter.
Yes.
And the change maker, and let's
talk about that.
talk about that.
We're very excited. So there will be, someone said the other day, there will be a number of books after COVID and after shut-in. Of course, there will be. Well, there will also be one from Now Publishing. So we are very excited to have the endorsement of the University of Tampa's Entrepreneurial Center to endorse a book that we have called The Top 25 Change Makers, How Florida Entrepreneurs Thrived During Challenging Times. And we are featuring and highlighting Linda in that book. And so
one of
she
25.
is one of 25. My favorite right now, this moment, like I say with the mom, whoever
This moment.
which daughter I'm with, she's my favorite at the moment. No, but you have you have done such a huge pivot. I mean, not just the TV show, but with your line and apparel and everything in your e-shop. I mean, you're a change maker, and you looked at this time that has beat a lot of people down and they're staying down. You looked at this time of, nope, I'm getting up, and this is what we're going to do, and be positive.
I saw it as an opportunity to direct my passion into the direction that it was actually going to become a thing. And I'm not there yet, but it's there.
You're already on the highway.
I am.
You're
I'm on that highway.
You also see the finish line
Yes.
because you have vision and you know what your mission is and you're working every day to get there. So you'll get there.
Yes.
And I'm very excited about you being in it and the book.
I am excited.
Sure.
So I have like at least 5 books, and I'm sure once I write those 5 books, I'm gonna have 5 more books that I want to write. How long does it take to write a book?
So writing the 90-day author, we can definitely publish from the ground up in 90 days, and we have. We actually did a book for an NFL Super Bowl guy in like 62 days. Now, do I recommend that? No.
That's
also,
fast.
it's fast, and you know what? We will not rush a book because of a date, because I learned in my first book, I was very happy with my editor that reminded me, make sure that you're okay with everything in this book and proud of it. It's your legacy. It lives on forever. It's something that you have to be proud of. And she told me that when I was in the last stage, and for the umpteenth time I was supposed to proof it, and I was like over it. And there is a point in the author's journey. And by the way, our clients are typically with us an average of a year to more. So it's a long engagement.
You're going to be with me a lot longer.
I'll be with you for 10 years.
Sorry.
With that, or 20. Yeah. When am I retiring? I'll stop then. No,
You can't retire until all my books are done.
We will, and it will get easier and easier. That's the other thing our authors know, and why they like to write more
learn
and
the
more.
patterns.
You learn it, even within writing your own book. By chapter 3, our editors are working with you to say, oh, okay, this is how you should open a chapter. This is what you should highlight, and it's a very momentous event, and only a small percentage of people that say they're going to write a book do it, and then an even smaller percent are published. I love it because I ran one full marathon, didn't stop, the Las Vegas Marathon, and I was fixated, this is a few years back, on that very small percentage that I was a part of. It's the same sort of thing when you're a published author, and I highly recommend it. Writing a book will change your life.
So we need to talk about why. Why do people write a business book? What are the advantages of writing? Yeah. So business people wear a lot of hats, and they are busy.
Right.
And now some of them aren't as busy as they were. So to me, this would be a perfect time to utilize hopefully they're doing the pivot and moving their company either forward or in another direction.
Right.
You know, either pick up where they left off or going in a different direction, which a lot of people are doing. But this seems to be an opportune time to write a book for a lot of business owners, and small business owners, medium business owners, and big corporations, large corporations. Why not? Why?
No, absolutely. So we started a program called the Great Write-Off. WRITE. We started it actually in November, December, but it officially started January of 2020. So we start this program, and basically we took 6 business owners that wanted to write their business brand books, and this is one of our authors, and we will launch their books on November 19th. It was so successful that we're running it again next year. But the idea came before COVID, but these are 6, rock stars that took the year of COVID and wrote a book. And the reason that they wrote a book, and you kind of mentioned, is it small solo entrepreneurs, or is it 7-digit business owners in terms of revenue? It just depends on do you want to gain a client? So a business brand book is important because how many realtors are there out there? How many coaches are there out there? How many everythings are there out there? How do you distinguish yourself to get in front of people that you wouldn't normally get in front of? Because having a book, you can go talk at the Rotary or at Club. They are interested in you. I can't even tell you how many different opportunities I've had only because someone searched my name up, saw my book, and said, oh, we'd like to have her talk in front of our tech group. So you get that opportunity. But the other thing it does is, there's stats on if you hand someone a book, they will hang on to it. People don't like to throw away books.
It's true. So and you're not supposed to ever throw a book away. You're supposed to either donate it or sell it, right?
Take it to the library.
You're never supposed to put it in the trash.
So if you're a potential client for me, let's say that I'm a lawyer and you're coming to, you're interviewing and vetting a few, personal injury lawyers, and I say, you know what, I'm such an expert in this field, or I've done this and this and this, and I actually have a story about a client that's just like yours. Let me give you my book. You're going to take it. I'm not saying you're going to hire me that day, but trust me, it will stay with you, it will stay in your car, and as you're looking at other people, will I be the only personal injury lawyer that has a brand book? Probably now, yes. 3 more years from now, probably no.
Right.
5 more years from now, no. You know, the other thing that we learned in the industry when we first started is that the business brand book is the new business card. And you will be left behind if you don't have a significant contribution of what your expertise is in the industry that is published content.
Yes.
So we help you. We build
I
it from
actually
the ground
know
up.
Rosie.
Do you know her?
I do know Rosie.
She's pretty amazing.
I just ordered the book. I need to.
Ordered it. Hello, I'm your friend. We need to give her the book sale royalty, so there you go. But no, she, you know, and what we do is we want to make it the market size, which people don't want long books.
Right.
We want you to know the why of what she did so we can learn from it. I mean, this one is the spirit of a resilient mindset,
Yeah.
and Neke means grit. And she came from Ecuador. She has a great story about being a girl on a male soccer team, and some U.S. Gal was on the team, and she went to her parents and said, hold it, if I go to the United States, I can do what I want to do. And she moved her family here at a young age.
Amazing.
So it's just inspiring and positive, and
Yes.
that's what we want to promote and publish.
That's beautiful. And you go through everything about the size of the book, the
anatomy of the sale,
anatomy
we
of the
write
sale,
the back, everything.
Because we're going to have to wrap it up.
Yeah,
So
okay.
you, when you do the 90-day author and the
Yes.
big write-off,
Yep.
you teach the writer everything they need to know about writing this book. And
do.
then you help them market it,
Yes.
right?
We promote it.
And publish it.
Full PR.
And you publish in every
all Kindle, Nook, Audible,
Right.
print, and it really again is based on my journey when they said, oh, you need bookmarks. Okay, I guess I have
How
to
do I
hard
do
to
that?
write. Oh, you need a stand-up banner. Oh, you need to write a professional speech. Oh, you need a one sheet, a bio card, you name it. So what we do is we include all of that
Yeah.
because again, I mean, it doesn't make sense to have to figure that out.
And then I have
and
to
not-
figure out,
yeah.
how to get it to the coffee table.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So yeah, our publishing packages, I don't think there's one like it, and I've shared them before with other people in the industry, and they said, wow.
No.
In fact, we have a client right now that's written 4 books, and he's like, I've never seen anyone provide all the services that you provide.
It's pretty amazing. So if you are interested, and if you don't even know if you're interested, but you're interested about being interested, please,
Publish with Now, publishwithnow.com is our website.
Publishwithnow.com, Liza Marie.
Yeah, or Liza Marie Garcia, or you can look up our hashtag Now Publishing. And,
Now Publishing.
Now Publishing.
Hashtag Now Publishing, or what was the other
Publishwithnow.com.
one? Publishwithnow.com. Thank you so much for being here. You are amazing.
Thank you, Linda. You are too, and I can't wait to publish your book.
Wonderful.
Books.
Well, thank you for joining us today. And again, please go to our website. And I just want to mention as well that a portion of all the proceeds go to an organization called Created. They're based out of Tampa, Florida, and Created fights human trafficking. And a portion of all the proceeds of my shirts go to that organization, and they are an amazing organization. We're going to learn more about them in one of our later programs. But for today, we're going to say goodbye, and thank you, Liza Marie, for being with us today. Let's go get a book written.
Yes. Thank you, Linda.
Take care. Bye. Thank you.
Yeah, good. I want to take one picture.